Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The biggest question for the Saints this offseason, or topic, is Sean Payton. Everything that will happen this offseason begins with Sean Payton. The Saints don't have draft capital. They will once the Sean Payton deal gets done. And now you know what you get for him. So whenever something happens related to Sean Payton, we're going to talk about it because we all presume Sean's going to coach next year. He wants to coach. He's doing interviews, and teams are interviewing him right now. And eventually there will be a deal that gets done. The Saints will recoup some assets, and then we'll have a much better conversation about, okay, what can you target at quarterback? Is drafting a quarterback realistic? Are you more looking at free agent quarterback? So all those conversations can start once the Sean Payton domino falls. Sean Payton's already interviewed with the Houston Texans, and now today had an interview with the Denver Broncos. Peter Schrager on Twitter tweeted earlier today. Sean Payton's Bronco interview lasted several hours in Los Angeles, including multiple members of the Broncos ownership group. He will travel to New York to meet with David Tepper regarding the Panthers job at the end of the week. So Sean Payton met with, I would presume, the Houston Texans by phone, because the in-person interviews weren't allowed to happen until yesterday. Well, he had his interview with the Texans 2 days ago, so I'm speculating there, but would presume maybe that was a phone interview. But the in-person interview with the Broncos was on Tuesday in Los Angeles, lasted multiple hours, and by all accounts went well. Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network today on NFL Network gave this update.
Houston Texans were on Monday, Denver Broncos in Los Angeles for multiple hours. That happened yesterday. Then he's got the Carolina Panthers in New York with owner Dave Tepper later this week. And as of right now, that is it for Sean Payton, Mike. And the Arizona Cardinals also have a request in. They've received permission. All of these teams are willing to meet the Saints' asking price, which is a first rounder and likely more. So they are in business and they are ready to do the deal.
You know, the most interesting part of this conversation is who ultimately makes the decision. What I mean is, something has to happen first. Like, all these teams know what the Saints' compensation is, but what if one team is willing to give up something? I'll give you a real-world example. Let's say both the Texans and the Broncos want Sean Payton, and the Texans are willing to part with the 12th pick, and the Broncos are willing to part with the whatever pick it may be that they get from San Francisco, a pick in the late 20s. Well, the Saints would obviously rather the 12th pick than the 27th pick, but let's say Sean Payton wants to go to the Broncos and not the Texans. Who wins? My guess is it would be Sean Payton, and then the Saints kind of got you by the yin-yang. So maybe it's that 27th pick or that late first-round pick and maybe another pick, a 2 or whatever it may be. So that, for me, is going to be the more interesting thing. And Rappaport kind of talked about that it really, ultimately, it's kind of Sean Payton's call.
For Sean Payton, I think there's a couple things. One, all of these teams represent interesting and different opportunities, so it's really a matter of him deciding what he wants. Russell Wilson in Denver, obviously. Houston Texans do not have a quarterback. Will likely be picking one at number 2. Carolina Panthers also do not have a quarterback. Does he want an established one? Does he want to help pick his own? Where does the cap space land? Some teams have general managers, like, say, the Denver Broncos. Some teams also the Houston Texans, of course. And look, there's varying degrees of would he get final say, would he not? A lot here at stake for Sean Payton and a lot of decisions to be made.
Boy, those NFL Network music beds are aggressive. Like, just pick a middle point of that again. Just listen to the music bed on this.
Want an established one? Does he want to help pick his own? Where does the cap space land? Some teams.
Right. I mean, that's like trap music they got behind him.
Yeah, man.
Like, calm the bass line down a little bit, man.
I mean, if you're Ian Rappaport, I would assume he can hear that in his IFB.
I think so.
I'd be like, hey, could you take? That's when I would be giving Muse one of these. Hey,
take it down a little bit.
Down a little bit. Take it down. Take it down a little bit. Anyway, Ian Rappaport said something there. I'm not really sure what it was. All I was listening to was a really aggressive bed music. Denver, I think, what's the update on the poll question? You find that, please, if you would, because that's today's Citizens Bank poll question of the day is where do you think Sean Payton lands? Denver, to me, makes a lot of sense. You have an owner that's willing to pay. Obviously, it's the Walmart heirs, so they got money. They're willing to pay. They want to win. New owner, you're trying to make a splash. I get it. You've got a pretty good front office there, right? I mean, John Elway has been there. They have put together winning franchises. They have won a Super Bowl. Denver makes sense there with the front office. Sean Payton has talked about his affinity for Russell Wilson and how he doesn't think Russell Wilson is done. So he would clearly have a plan there with a veteran quarterback. You wouldn't be grooming a rookie. You have a guy with Super Bowl credentials already. And Sean Payton has said it's going to be a mid to late first rounder that it's going to take to get him. And Denver has that. So I think Denver makes a lot of sense. It probably makes the most sense. Houston's interesting because you've got a pick that could land the future franchise quarterback. So that's exciting to have that opportunity. But if you're Sean Payton, you want to win now. It feels like Denver is closer than Houston, albeit Houston in a much more winnable division. Muse, what's the poll results there?
And so Houston actually has a slight lead over Denver right now. Where will Sean Payton be? 37% Houston, 31%, rounds up 32 for Denver.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.